Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the VALORANT low-elo Challengers Cup 2 playoffs. I am your host, REBL, and I am joined for our second matchup tonight by Storch. Brother, it's good to have you back on the cast, and I'm excited for this one. How you feeling?
Feeling excited, and I'm ecstatic to be able to cast this match. Now, ULA versus Salvation. Two teams that I think are very underrated in this tournament. Where do you think this might go? Map 3, or do you think it's going to be a 2-map series?
That's actually a really good question because honestly, when I look at this matchup, so Salvation, I want to dig into the narratives for both of these teams when I think about this matchup because honestly, it's looking really even when I'm doing the math here. Now Salvation, so they started this tournament with a lot of success, right? Against Extra Life in 2-0 fashion, but then they got dominated by DSS in that winner's bracket in that group stage, if you remember, and that sent them into a rematch against Extra Life where they actually took the series again. That's actually the very series I fell in love with Salvation because they looked so good during the comebacks and they never gave up. And furthermore, this team, as you mentioned before we went live here, they look much better with their new players in SAD and Law, so I'm looking for them to continue that narrative of improvement tonight. Yeah,
so last time we saw Salvation play, as you were saying, the comeback led by Law and I believe it was Zirconium. Now, it actually looks like they have a bit more of a roster change here. We'll get into that later. But ULA, coming out of their bracket, very convincing wins. Everything looked good except for their Haven. Now, we are seeing Haven here today, Robbie. Map 2. How do you think that's going to pan out?
That's going to be interesting because that Haven was their weak spot in the series that they had in the beginning. I mean, ULTRALIGHT, they started off with that hot streak against Alter Ego. They had that 2-0 lead, right? It was really good, dominant. They kept it going against Fanatical Radiance, which was way closer. That was 2-1. And the two map Storch that they won in that 2-1 victory was only 13-11, right? Which was really close. One thing I want to talk about before I get into the Haven here is, so they're not going to have Penguin tonight. They're actually, and he's their usual initiator, they're actually going to have Talia, who's their manager and coach. She's going to be filling in. And so I'm not sure they're really losing much because they obviously have the brains behind their system in the server with them. I'm not sure about her firepower because I haven't seen her play. But I'm really excited to see how that pans out. And so speaking of Haven, I think they might have some more structure to play with. I think it'll look better than what it did before because obviously we had a very big gap between group stage and playoffs. They had we had a dark week of matches, so they had a lot of time to get prepped for this one, and there's a lot of odds out there on the YouTube from the whole group stage for that preparation. You mentioned maps. I want to get into that. So before I talk about ULTRALIGHT, now Salvation and ULTRALIGHT have a lot of congruency here that I want to talk about. Salvation banned Abyss again, and then Lotus in that order in their first 3 group stage matches. But then ULTRALIGHT, they banned Abyss, then Abyss again during the group stage. Both of these teams banned Abyss both times in the group stage matches, so I think it's safe to say, Storch, we're not going to see any Abyss tonight. But Salvation, they stayed away from Abyss. They picked Ascent, Icebox, and Haven in that order, and then ULTRALIGHT Academy picked Ascent and Haven, 2 maps. We might get that ban out of Haven. To answer your question now, when we think about what Haven's going to look like, they're probably going to ban it, but if they don't, I'm expecting that they have a lot of prep on the map coming into this, and there's more set plays.
Yeah, now, also with both teams, 2-0, very convincing wins in their first game. Salvation, I actually said after the first game that I thought that team was going to be very special. But then we see the next game. You know, Salvation losing to DSS, getting completely shut down, and then even against Extra Life, it looks like they were getting a little bit cocky with themselves and they didn't practice as much. And then UL, of course, being an actual org, this academy team, there's that expectation that, you know, you have to bring that drive, you have to want to get better, and so hoping to see a big improvement from both teams.
Yes, big improvement indeed. Now here we are into the map veto, so they actually ban Icebox and Lotus here, which is very interesting, much different than what I was expecting. Ascent comes out as that first pick, and it looks like Haven slipped through the cracks, Storch. We're going to get that on map 2, and Decider's going to be Sunset.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit scary. Now, UL, they have had a pretty bad Haven, I would say. But Salvation, not much different, especially in that DSS game. Now, they did beat EXL, but you know, it just didn't feel like that much of an achievement, like, gameplay-wise. You know, I feel like a lot of misused util, missed opportunities to push, and UL is a team that's going to be able to, like, you know, they're going to capitalize off that.
Yep.
And so it's going to be really important here to just change it up. Now, as you were saying with Talia, they're playing in place of the coach slot, playing for Penguin. Penguin, I love his Sova. It's great. New to it, and it just looks amazing. But as you said, having the brains behind that operation can be so huge. And in a playoff position here, my question is, does that coach take the probably the more positive move, the better for the team currently move, and IGL that game, or do they still go with Eco and his IGLing strats to help him develop more? You know, now that we're in playoffs, these matches really matter. And so, you know, I'm a little curious to what they're going to play like.
And I will say, that's always been one of the curious questions for me, Storch, when I see a coach fill in for a team, right? Is the coach going to IGL, or is their IGL going to IGL, right? I think you begged a very good question there. And while we see how that narrative plays out in the map as we move into the game here, I want to surely talk about the comps that we got out of here. So ULTRALIGHT Academy, obviously playing the same thing we got out of them in the group stage, right? We have that Cypher Deadlock comp, and they played it so well from top to bottom, and I'm excited to see them play it again. But on the flip side, Salvation, something a little bit more peculiar. So we have the Killjoy Deadlock coming out. I'm not used to that pairing. I'm used to the Cypher Deadlock. And I mean, usually what I think that the Cypher contributes to this comp, right? You've got those cages, so you have a little bit more of that mid-round vision blockage to play around with. You can mitigate a lot more angles, and you also have the Omen. So you essentially have 4 smokes, right, with respect to Cypher being lesser smokes. With Killjoy, you don't necessarily have that in the mid-round. You've got that chip damage with the nano swarms. You've got that long-range information with the turret. And so I'm excited to see how they play that here on this defense, you know, because I feel like it has great stalling power. If you set up those nano swarms on site where you have the sonic sensors towards the lanes, I mean, it's really good. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, Salvation, they did play this comp in their first game in VLEC Ascension. And I really liked the way it looked. I think I was actually telling you how I actually think I prefer the way it plays to the Cypher Deadlock. Now, there might obviously be something that I'm missing, like the use of the cages. Haven't really considered that, but I really like the way that KJ passively controls space and always has that active intel. I think it's so important, and I really like what Salvation do here.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything there. And the other thing I like about it too, and I think we talked about this too with the first time we saw them play this comp, is on attack, right? Obviously you have less of that site mitigation with the Cypher cages, but on the flip end, you have way more versatility on how to hit the sites. That grav net going towards those entrenched bunkered positions on the site, and couple that up with some nano swarms, you have a lot better utility to force out those positions, plus the shock darts. So I think this comp can do a lot of damage on the flip end, you know, with the bunkered sites. And you're playing that Cypher Deadlock comp on the flip side, and because neither of these comps have a KO, I expect these Sentinels to 100% be prioritizing playing into the sites, and I definitely think that the Killjoy Deadlock can have a lot more success in that way.
Yeah, with the nano swarms especially, just controlling space. Like if you can find those lineups, like, you know, the one that's gonna zone off stairs, you can hit site. So nice. And if there's one player in VLE so far that I've really liked their nano swarm usage, it's been Hoopa from Minji. They just played their game. Phenomenal. Congrats to them for the win. Big win for them. But
huge.
I'm really looking for, you know, I'm looking for Vector to maybe take some notes from him. Vector, great IGL, and has played great on Ascent so far, but he just maybe needs a little bit more to help out his team when he's playing elsewhere.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I mean, in the first series that we got him on the KJ on Ascent, was a demon in the server. Every single lurk that he had, Storch, I mean, must I say, I might go out on a limb here that he was one of the most successful Sentinels on attack on this map in that agent.
Yeah, no, that was such a great performance from him. Set up such a high expectation, and he still needs to keep hitting that expectation because he hasn't recently. Now, into the first round, you see some fights towards mid, and Sirius just getting pushed and taken down.
Taken down, but okay, Vector, second point of contact here. He's got the classic in hand, looking for the shots over towards Switch, not able to take it down. The running gun, it's a little bit awkward, not able to capitalize quickly. It's going to be Salvation, but they get taken down. Wildex with the cradle into Asteri, Talia with it. Wildex looking for number 3, there it is, right off the back of the grab net. And Freaky Shadow over here towards main, playing the positioning, but right now Talia is actually the one going into it. There she is, looking for another pick there, takes him down to 1 HP. Has done the damage into the round, but both of them are so low. One shot with the Ghost. Both fake taps come right on in. Ooh, but the jump up, did he hear it? I think he did. He's looking towards that mid position, but he's opting to go right back towards the site right now. And the round gets a lot quieter off of this. Barrier mesh not really mitigating the space over towards here, and he walks right into the crosshairs. Zirconium with the clutch and the pistol round for Salvation.
Yeah, and Salvation looking for a fast approach mid, and like, you know, they are really good at punishing the UL push, who's also going towards mid. I think I saw a lot that round. Players with ghosts, you know, they sort of had 2 bullets left and tried to take another fight. Now, that ghost bullet change, Robbie, 15 to 13 bullets, it does seem to be affecting players early.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you mentioned that. We talk about some of the patch notes here on stream, and that's definitely one that I think can have an effect on the way that you play those pistol rounds. I think the Ghost was way too potent of a weapon previously, especially in rifle rounds too. You get those save rounds, you're beating people with phantoms, so it's a good change indeed. But here we are. Sight hit coming through over towards the B site. Looks like Ultralight's game plan right now is to control the tempo of this attack. Okay, Vector, the only one left towards the B site. Knocking at the door is Corey, tip of the spear, but not able to do any of the damage. Ooh, shots not able to connect just yet for OK Vector, but he's got the support of his team and Wildex. Exactly, wow from him. Flawless round from Salvation.
Yeah, now I want to look towards this mid here, Robbie. The setup so far has been that classic KJ alarm bot, but then further back, a little bit behind Pizza, they have that stun sensor. Now what that's going to do is, when UL walk up mid, they're going to break that KJ alarm bot. Somebody's going to be playing market for Salvation, and the person playing mid is just going to run because they've made noise, given the contact, and they've broken the trip, and they're going to run straight into that sound sensor. If it's there, of course, not this round.
It's actually a really good thing to note. I feel like when you go up against comps like this, mid is such a thing to explore, right? When you have that like very heavy sentinel presence, a lot of times mid like to gravitate towards mid, you know, and maybe try to get around that sentinel utility. And I think that Salvation are doing a great job of adjusting to that alone.
Now,
out towards A side here.
Ooh, 70 gets rolled off. Corey can't quite find the pick. Now, drone coming through. Aggressive drone. Might try and capitalize off of it. Shadow now, able to find one. Coming into treat. Skoda had contact with Wildex. He just misses him. Wildex, he's a whip! Oh my god, the flick!
Oh!
Oh my god, Robbie!
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Dex.
Wow, Dex.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Salvation looked so good there, Storch, on that retake. I mean, it was really good. The Guardian shots were hitting from him. The most, like, surprising pick in that retake, in my opinion, was the shot that he got when those cages dissipated in tree. That was a flick. And I think that really opened up the round there, especially the one towards front Jenny. You get that. Now, this bonus is so good for Salvation because that means they're controlling the tempo in this half so far. They recover this next round off of that eco. If they can get that 5th round, they're looking real good.
Yeah, and Wildex, he's a player who, you know, we've seen really struggling to get into things on that duelist role. Clearly, over the past 2 weeks, he's been hitting the labs. Crazy shots coming out from him. Great job.
Turrets destroyed.
Now,
okay, Vector.
Approach towards B.
Yeah, the B approach. I mean, it's dangerous. Storch, look at this lane setup. Oh my goodness. I mean, he's getting completely bunkered here. GravNet takes him down. Serious. Able to get the trades through. Salvation already recovering 2 picks so far, keeping everyone alive into this, and that's exactly what you want for your economy.
Now, Talia is isolated over on that left side of main, trying to get out. All she has is a sheriff. And they're kind of forced to stay towards B. Asteri is going to fall to spam from Wildex. They're looking for more, Robbie. I understand it is a save, but they need to find some productivity here.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, on rounds like this is where you want to start doing damage. Whoa, that's shocked. I mean, I'm sure as a Sova main, you love seeing what's going on here with Sirius. He's doing some damage here.
Oh yeah, gotta get a serious cam going.
Right?
Let's get serious about this Sova
30
gameplay.
seconds left.
Man, 20 HP on Talia, though. I mean, Storch, I'm not sure they're going to be able to find that value here.
Yeah, screw a toaster oven. They ran into, like, a trash incinerator.
Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Wowdex, nice shots from him. Really excited to see how this is going to go further into the game. 4-0, very convincing lead from Salvation. And UL, I've done my pick'ems. I did have them winning, but if they're playing like this, then I don't know, Robbie.
yeah, I mean, their attack, I think it actually was the attack of this comp that looked stronger than the defense the last time around, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's a little bit interesting to see that it's not working out this time because a defense is what they struggled with last time. If they don't have that defense figured out this time around, it's going to make things hard.
Oh, wow, that's
Come on.
Wow.
What?
Down mid.
3 on the round. Pushing through the cloudburst, looking for number 4. I mean, Corey just can't find the opening right now. Wowdex has completely taken this map into his hands. Takes down Shadow. 4 on the round, looking for the ace. And no matter what, he has done his job and then some. Moving right into the angle, looking for the headshot, and there's the ace. Wow.
Wowdex with the ace. He is going insane. 15-2. Check him, PC. And he 10 a stary disconnect. You know, seems like something that happens every now and again, but you get a little
He just
pause
couldn't believe
here.
it.
And Talia as the coach is playing, so they do have their coach in their VC.
Mm-hmm. Oh, true. Yeah, because and usually in tech timeouts, actually, you don't get access to your coach. But, you know, since the players are together, I mean, and she's one of the players in this. I mean, they get to talk a little bit, decompress these rounds. Yeah.
Placing sentry.
Now, Wowdex with the ace. That was a spectacle. That was insane, Robbie. Not something I expected this game. Pre-game, I thought about talking about Wowdex, about talking about how, you know, as he evolved as a player, is he the right fit for that duelist role for Salvation? Because he's really been struggling, but 15-2 so far is diabolical. These are pillow fort numbers.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy, too, because Pillow Fort wasn't putting up the numbers today either. Wowdex might just be the new Pillow Fort. I don't know.
It swapped minds.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, there are some ults online for ULA. They have done a good job of farming those orbs.
Mm-hmm.
And one off of from the shadows and Neural Theft.
Sound sensor up.
They have the Annihilation, Adner's Fury, the Blade Storm. They could make something of this round, but they're not going to force up, so it doesn't look like they're going to go for it unless Shadow. You know, maybe Hero Rifle can do something.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that Wilddex is playing right now, I mean, Ultralight are having a very hard time finding those openings. I mean, Wilddex is also just really good with his movement right now, too. I want to note that, like, obviously his aim and his mechanics, like, are on point, but, you know, I don't want the movement to fly under the radar. He's doing a very exceptional job of playing around the choke points, not giving up the 1v1s too much, you know, and then playing to the support of his team. And I think the rest of the team behind him as well is playing very well with those trades. You see everyone right behind him every single time. Sirius already has 6 assists, only 5 rounds into the game. So, I mean, you start to see the layers of Salvation playing to their advantage right now in this matchup.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed with what's happening so far. These setups, they actually look drilled. In the past, they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And they do look prepared, like, for anything, really. Even the round that they double set up Deadlock KJ on B, they had the Deadlock set up and then run towards A for that extra body. It's just so well played right now.
So textbook. Asteri yet to get on the board, but I mean, the full team having a hard time right now moving forward. Now, I want to start talking about this ultimate economy because I feel like that's one of the most important things, especially on a map like Ascent, where there are very, decided metas across every league, I mean, in this game right now. And so looking at it here, you really want to have that good ult switch going on, the ult staggering. And I think they've got some good ones in hand here, right? You've got the Blade Storm on the side of Corey because they're going into this eco round, and I do suspect they're going to bring that out. You've also got the Hunter's Fury in Talia, and you've got the Annihilation from Asteri. Now, I don't think those are going to come out on this eco round, but you can bring out Corey, right? And then the next round, you get into a rifle round, you get the guns bought, and now you have an even more advantageous round, rather, because you have access to those really important ultimates. And they're only one off of both the From the Shadows and Neural Theft as well. So I think ULTRALIGHT definitely have some silver lining going into these later rounds, and they can definitely recover some rounds here.
Yeah, for sure. It's just about how they use those. I mean, so far, a lot of the gameplay has seemed a little bit almost careless from ULA. They need to take their fights more sparingly. And also just rushing on that site, it's not going to work against a double Sentinel comp. They're playing it themselves. They should know how to counter a similar comp to theirs, and I'm not seeing it. But
yeah,
now Asteri back, round starting, time for them to prove us wrong.
Get out of my way.
Here we go. Blade Storm, just as expected, going over to the approach towards this A site, but I mean, this is exactly where OK Vector's sitting. And I mean, he has been a demon in the server on this role time and time again. Ooh, Wildex able to take down Corey ahead of it. Vector playing around backside really well so far. The lineups do land down. Talia looking for the damage that she can get. There it is. Bulldog lands onto him. Looking for another. Serious handling the engagement so well so far. And Talia down to 29 HP. Shock Dart able to go down. Leo landing onto Shadow. And it's Talia left in a 1v3. The coach on the side of ULTRALIGHT Academy filling in for the team. Gonna try to do any damage that she can here, but I mean, they have really good things going into the next round. So, I mean, any damage or lack thereof is okay for ULTRALIGHT here.
Yeah, and Dark gonna come through, maybe some spam, but no, Leo's just gonna shut that right down. And great round for Salvation there. They do lose Wowdex. Wowdex maybe getting a little bit too aggressive there out of the pre-smoke, but he's able to get one, get his own trade. And at the end of the day, their eco, it's good enough to just throw away the guns, I guess. And he also, that was baiting for Vector. Now, that gives Vector 3 more orbs, 4, sorry, because he died, onto his ultimate. 3 off of that KJ ult. Now they have to save that Sova ult. And Wowdex, through this smoke, actually going to find a pick onto eco. That's big, that's the IGL.
That is super big, and I mean, he can IGL from the grave now comfortably, but I mean, they have ultimates going into this, but that's their smokes Storch taken down within the first seconds of the round. And already ULTRALIGHT on their back foot. I don't even know if they're going to invest that Annihilation or Hunter's Fury into this round. I mean, it looks so dangerous. Ooh, Shadow! Headshot right over towards there, and I mean, he's looking to be the hero of this round, and that's exactly what they need right now. And Corey moving away from the site, but here it is, Shadow. Not all heroes wear capes. Taking down Sirius, still pushing towards this mid position, but Leo is aware that Corey's repositioned here, and is so fragmented from them right now. These are the kinds of mid rounds you don't want to see, but Zirconium still able to be onto the site. GrabNet takes him down, and Talia capitalizing. And so far, it's fragmented, but I mean, as I say that, Shadow just takes him down. No more chance left into the round. Spy cam, I mean, it's just BM at this point. Looks really good this round.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, taking a little family picture, if you will. Now, Salvation, giving up way too many ones. Look at the dead bodies, Robbie. They were doubled up in on Cat. Leo and Wowdex were. Wowdex, he finds one through the smoke, overheating a little bit, and just doesn't quite, get the kill. He falls. Leo gonna pick off Shadow though, and now it's a 1v2. Suddenly, this is winnable. Annihilation is on the board though.
Shadows traveling.
It's looking a bit precarious here. Dark cover over towards B main. Leo pushing out. He's going to try to go for the clutch here. I mean, it'd be huge if he does it. 7 for them. Would be undefeated into this, but they're playing this so well right now. It looks very drilled. Talia, the coach on the side. You're not going to see a lot of mistakes forced out. Point of contact is made. Tries to go for the spam. Going to move to cover. And so far, it looks really good. Very well disciplined right now. And you see Asteri being that backstab. I mean, Talia has done so great at stalling this position right now. Tries to go onto the tap, confirms the kill at the end, and that's the first round win for ULTRALIGHT in this map.
Now, from ULTRALIGHT, that did look a lot better, but they can't rely on rounds like that for a win. You know,
Yeah.
Shadow, he does go big on his lurk. I think he got 2, but his lurk came off of his teammate dying tiles, him pushing out tiles, and isolating a 1. If he can't get that 1, then it's useless, and you know, all of a sudden, UL, they have no map control. They need to rely more on getting that map control with multiple people, multiple kits of util, and they need to prioritize living.
And ULTRALIGHT looking to capitalize off that round win. I mean, if there's any time to gain momentum, now is that time. Now, Corey, gonna go ahead and start grinding up towards that Blade Storm. The second one he'll get this game. He's got a lot more ult orbs to get to do it, but the time starts now. Valdex going onto the angle. What in the world? I mean, that's like first blood number 5 million now. I've lost count. And Eco. The IGL for the side of ULTRALIGHT. Yeah. At least 3, yeah.
Oh.
Cage triggered.
Shadow
That's
showing
something.
that he can hang with Bando and CJ.
Cage triggered.
This is really good work so far. But Salvation, I mean, they're biting it off.
Yeah, and Leo, he's so aware, along with Vector, and Wowdex gonna find another 2 picks. 3 on the round now. Does this man have a power button?
I know exactly where
Somebody
you are.
come turn it off. Somebody has turned it on, and he is going insane.
Yeah.
Tripwire destroyed.
No, both spotted out. Shadow actually opting to use the neural theft there. Gonna make a step in Garden. Wowdex, he picks up on it, but Leo still gonna hold the smoke. A little bit interesting. Maybe some calm issues there.
10
As
seconds
they didn't
left.
hear. Wowdex, he does really want this last pick. You see him, you know, he's like itching to get it. Shadow, I think, just doesn't want to give it to him. Wants to save the gun.
I mean, I have to say, with the way that Wowdex is playing right now, Storch, but just Salvation overall, too. I mean, we've seen really good rounds from Vector holding down the sites. I mean, the kills, I know he's 20-4 right now, so let's take Wowdex out of the equation for just a second and look at the rest of Salvation. Now, although there may not be a lot of kills distributed amongst the rest of that team, there's a lot of impact frags going on there. We have Sirius, who comes in and assists time and time again with Wowdex, and also Vector, who's able to actually bunker down onto the site successfully. And Zirconium, who, I mean, his deadlock setups have been incredibly potent so far. So, I mean, again, the layers look so good from Salvation that I just don't see a door in for ULTRALIGHT right now.
And or do I, and Corey spammed down to 1 HP already in the round. Wowdex is gonna dash out mid. Able to find 1. Talia with the refrag. Gets Leo. Eco down now, Asteri down. Sirius with 2. 1 flash fridge. Wowdex, another 2 kills on the round. I believe another first blood for him this round, Robbie. But look at Shadow. So far looked up B.
Every single round. Oh, never mind.
Wow.
I'm sorry I even spoke.
Cast the curse.
Right? But still, I mean, the narrative is true. Every single round, it feels like Shadow is able to successfully find those defensive openings every single time. And I'm wondering when the IGL, or maybe even the coach that's standing in right now on the side of ULTRALIGHT, is going to be able to lean into that, because Shadow is successfully finding those openings. When are they going to look at that, Storch, and decide, you know what, let's follow Shadow on some of these lurks and maybe get this opening and move towards the sites? Because I feel like he is the point of success if they have any right now.
Yeah, and my question is, where are the timeouts? Only team today to call a timeout is Celestial, and they won their, and they might have lost, but they, you know, weren't down a whole lot. Both Minji and UL both looking like they missed some opportunities for timeouts here. Need to be more lenient on them.
Yeah. More lenient indeed. Okay, Vector.
Oh, hey, wow.
Left onto the site. Once again, Wowdex gets one down. Annihilation finally invested into it, but there it is. As we talked about layers, it doesn't have to be Wowdex. This time it is Vector to fend off the A site. Once again, Shadow found another opening, but look at how aware Wowdex is of it. The more that this pattern persists throughout the game, the more they're just going to be on top of him. There it is. Dink comes right through. Zirconium takes him down. Flawless for Salvation, and I mean, that's the way the map is looking right now.
Now, some spread kills, but Robbie, did you flag who got that first blood?
Wowdex. Who else?
Yeah. Has he missed
Who
a single
else?
first blood this game?
I don't know. I just know that when we get to the next map, and in the pre-match when we're talking about who the MVP was, I know we're gonna have a stat line on the screen with double-digit first bloods. I feel it. I just feel it.
Yeah, maybe. If he has 10 so far, I don't know how long this game is gonna last. Honestly,
True. Yeah.
this is kind of shocking.
Oof.
Wow. But then on UL as well with Shadow. Shadow always finding those lurk timings, but it's maybe getting a little bit predictable, and the rest of UL, they have to space the map, they have to show presence elsewhere, they have to stay alive to make the lurk actually be worth something. Freaky Shadow, Shadow, he's not going to be able to do anything in a 1v5, like 99% of the time. So they need to find a way to sort of preserve their lives.
Yeah. And here we are, moving into round number 11 here. Vector this time switching up the style. He's going to play towards this B site. Already a Nano Swarm invested here. And this timeout gave them time to decide what they want to do on this eco round, but more importantly, how they're going to handle the rifles after this. But Vector actually invests a lockdown going into this. He gets the first, make it second, make it three. On to Corey against Lane. And Talia already invest the ultimate, make it four. Oh my goodness. Going for the aces, Vector. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
They want it. They want to steal it from him, and they steal it. Zirconium ruining the moment. Vector unable to revitalize himself.
Last round before
Oh
the
my
switch.
god. What a game we are watching, Robbie. Now, this might not be close, but it is fun to watch how Salvation, they've gone from this team who really struggled against EXL, a team who I think maybe wasn't the strongest, and they're doing really, really well right now. And it's so great to see a team that puts in that effort and goes places.
Yeah. And here we are, a bit of a different look here. Corey over towards A. We're going to get a bit of a Corey versus Wilddex action here. He's ready with the Paranoia as well off the back of it. First shot gets taken, no damage done. Paranoia off the back of it to stop any further pushes so he can maintain this A main space. Goes back into it, but you can see how nervous Corey is to take that gunfight too. He's so reserved about it.
Nothing there.
Annihilation
Over there.
towards tiles. Nothing found from Zirconium, and so far, a full reset from both teams this round.
Over there.
Yeah, Asteri very close to Zirconium. Fight's about to go down. And Asteri barely able to get the pick, but he does get it. 72 HP now. Looking to run towards mid. Serious. Gonna get caught out. He has a spare Vandal though. Can't find one.
Vector could be a difference maker here. Finds the first, but not able to capitalize off the back of it. Leo left standing. And right now, for Ultralight Academy, I mean, it'd be a 2-10 half. I mean, just judging by the way Salvation's playing right now, and they're going into their attack half after this, I mean, I'm sure Wilddex is just going to keep the heat going that he has right now.
Yeah, and Leo, he's got to just play for exits here, honestly. Eco on the side of UL, really not looking good. And when I say eco, I mean economy, not player. Any picks here would go huge for Leo, but unable to find them as Shadow is going to pick that up. And I believe also full shield on all three members. So able to buy some rifles for teammates.
Feel them getting ready.
10-2
Yeah,
half.
we're moving. Yeah, 10-2. I mean, that is just so dominant from Salvation. And we're moving into the pistol round, second half here. I mean, Ultralight Academy, defense is exactly where they struggled last time, Storch. So I'm nervous for them going into this. I'm also nervous for people's pick'ems because from what it seems, a lot of people have Ultralight Academy winning this matchup here.
Yeah, I actually, in my pick'ems, have him winning the whole tournament, Robbie.
Oh, wow. That's a bold one.
Yeah, very impressed with how Salvation's playing. This is not
Here.
what I was expecting, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
WowDex looking towards A main here. Ori playing a bit of a weird angle, trying to catch him off, and gets reaction time diff by WowDex. Another first blood, and Eco going for the paranoia. But is he gonna be able to get one? No, Vector, and maybe a little bit of poor forethought, Robbie. The paranoia doesn't blind you close range, only long range. You just get nearsighted, not blinded. So still an even fight.
Yeah, I was gonna say that micro there, a little bit questionable, but nonetheless, still looking to come into the retake. I mean, Shadow is having complete difference, or difficulty rather, coming into this position. I mean, the grav net, that is what Deadlock is so good at on this map, or really any map, is just stopping those retakes from coming through, and the stall power of it has completely held off this Heaven Waterfall. And Talia, the last one to go down, flawless pistol by Salvation, securing the 11th round of this map.
Yeah, just very, very textbook from Salvation here. Very good A rush off on pistol. I absolutely love it. And just the togetherness. Playing very, very, like, not too aggressive, very together. Geeking off of one another. I think just gonna be a really tough series for UL to find their way back into. This map, it's all but over right now, and Ori, he has the Marshall mid, has to go big here. And can't quite find the shot onto WowDex. Now, the charge up cat. This is scary. Eco, he's gonna be in that smoke. Can he catch him out?
I think he... Oh, no! Oh, just the barrel peeking out the side of the dark cover there. And WowDex was actually able to take him down. Looking to see if anyone else is bunkered in that space. Does confirm as the smoke dissipates. And right now the layer is to come into this tree space. Look at where WowDex is. All of the presence has come towards site, but look at where he's going to come. That's it. That is all she wrote. That's the second flawless in a row by Salvation coming into this half. And I mean, I think ULTRALIGHT are just... They don't have a chance to come into this, Storch. I'm looking for the way in, and I can't find it.
They do still have another timeout. Surely they use it here. Unless they just want to go next, which I can understand as well. Maybe, you know, letting this game finish, getting that full mental reset might be the way to go. Vector, he was able to climb up to 15 and 6. Maybe Ascent is just his map. Oh, and Shadow. Playing like an absolute rat. I love it. He's able to find WowDex. And there's the answer. But gets caught up by the Owl Drone. And he's going to fall. Get some nice damage, though. And he's just not the most favorable weaponry for UL here.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really nice play. But, I mean, it's going to take a whole lot more than that in order to come back into the series here. But right now, on their back foot, on this map, and just seemingly in the series in general, just by how this is going, is ULTRALIGHT Academy. They got to make this retake happen. Every single round counts from here forward. They have to get this win. GravNet comes through. Sirius gets the information. Dark comes through. He knows they're going to be pulling it off, but the timing does not work out in his favor. Corey taking down Leo with the Bulldog going towards the site. Reload comes through. Delayed for just a second, but okay. Vector over towards the site. Able to land down his third of the round, but Talia gets sprayed right through the smoke. But wait a minute. Oh, yeah, they do have time. Oh, my goodness. My heart was racing there. But there it is. ULTRALIGHT Academy staying in it for another round.
Yeah, no. That round win, while much needed, it's not really going to bother Salvation. That was their bonus, and while UL might have had weak weaponry as well because they had to force up, they still had some money and had some Bulldogs, had better weaponry in general. And so, it's been really scary for UL. Hanging in there, though.
Whew.
And you know what we haven't seen much of this match, Robbie? The new rechargeable shields. I think both teams sort of opting with the old, even though they're playing, I guess, I don't know, I'm a chess player, so this is the phrasing I'll use. But it's kind of like a hyper-modern comp that they're playing right now. Very new ideas. But still playing maybe a little old. Now, the grouping all the way
You
up
should
mid,
run.
and KJ ult gonna come through to A. They're looking to split hit this, but the flank from Corey able to find one, and it's Wowdex. Wowdex now has been picked off first blood 2 rounds in a row. Maybe a bit of a reverse here. Cypher cages come down. Shadow could be anywhere. Can't quite wall spam that.
Spike planted.
Leo
Yeah, and
can
I mean-
insert himself hell though.
Yeah, this insert's so good too, because you have that stopping power with the deadlock utility towards heaven. Now, this round Storch is where you really need that good drilled layered retake. They don't know there's a crossfire here. And the stun comes right on through, but Zirconium capitalizes off the back of it. Only 3 left standing for ULTRALIGHT. They've got to make it happen to stay in this one. Talia taking down Sirius, doing the damage, but Leo, from that hell position that we mentioned before, is able to get the trade, but Zirconium, 3 on the round, takes down Corey. And he's going to have to get it half here. He's going to play for time. Dart comes right on through. And I think Zirconium has done his job perfectly. And
Yes,
what a way to win the map.
Attackers
Salvation, 13-3.
Our victory.
Wow. And first game for Salvation in playoffs, they showed that they deserve to be there.
Yeah,
They-
I mean,
What a showing, Robbie.
what? Storch,
8
that?
squad.
Yeah. Oh, 8, okay. He didn't get the double digit. I thought he was going to, but the match ended way too quickly. But, oh my God. I mean, I don't even know what to say about what we just watched, other than the fact that that was an absolute Wowdex. No, you know what? That was a Salvation masterclass. I know Wowdex did great. You know, I'll give him his props. He did all right, you know. But no, the full team, so good here. It was absolutely amazing from front to back.
No, for sure. And Wowdex, I mean, 8 first bloods, yeah, we were expecting more, but still, 50% of rounds. That is just insane. What a game from them. And UL, they have to think of something. That was their map pick. Now we're going into Salvation map pick, Haven. Salvation, they struggled on Haven. So did UL, but they knew they've been playing UL for about a week and a half now. And so, you know, maybe they've put a lot of time into that Haven. And this
Yeah.
series, you know, it's looking really scary for UL. They're going to have to pull up something.
Yeah, I mean, this is rough. And with Haven, that's Salvation's a map pick. So if you're ULTRALIGHT Academy in this scenario, going down 13-3 in your Ascent map pick, and then you're going into Haven, which is a map you've already struggled with, and, you know, the community knows that because you've played the map here in the tournament so far. I mean, and it's Salvation's map pick. I mean, the series just has to go Salvation's way. I don't think there's any other way to say it right now. But I will say, during the map veto, if you remember, I did mention, though, that if ULTRALIGHT Academy let Haven slip through and they don't ban it, because that was their ban during the at the beginning, right after the first map, the way it went. And so if they let it slip through this time around, what I suspect is they have a plan on it. So what they're doing is they want to go and they have the server time scrims. They're going to practice their Haven, get it drilled, make it way better, let it slip through so that they can pick another map, which is going to be their strength, so that Haven and try to take the series 2-0. Now that's what I'm suspecting is maybe the plan, if I can get a bit of a read into how ULTRALIGHT are thinking about this. So I think we're going to see some good things here on Haven from ULTRALIGHT. I know that's a crazy, outlandish thing to maybe say after what we just saw, but I definitely expect to see some improvements.
Yeah, really, really needed here. And I think it's what we're going to get. If this Salvation side has shown us anything today, it has been improvement. Not a single member of this team has gone negative in this game. Vector, able to find his footing for the first time since that first match. And Wowdex, maybe for the first time this series, or sorry, this season, really getting up there. But, you know, maybe we had to wait this long to get something this good. You know, we've got playoff Michael Jordan. We've got World Cup Messi. We've got VLE Challengers League playoffs Wowdex.
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy.
I mean, it's an absolute masterclass from him for sure. And you did mention Vector as well. Definitely, he showed us what he showed the first map. I mean, the first series in this tournament. He definitely came back into his zone. But on the flip side, so I want to talk about the silver lining we have for ULTRALIGHT. So obviously they get dominated this map, but I want to talk about some of the layers that they can maybe extract from this game and use to their strengths on this Haven map, right? So definitely Talia being a leader in the server. I haven't seen her play yet, but I see that she has shown some mechanical strengths here, right? She got some really good trades, definitely some impact frags on the rounds where ULTRALIGHT did find some success. So I definitely think that Talia fills the shoes well. So I expect to see some of that leadership also come into play towards Haven. But I also want to talk about Shadow here. I mean, he has shown, for how bad ULTRALIGHT lost this map, Shadow got a lot of value out of his Cypher. So I definitely want to see them play towards that on Haven. I suspect he's going to play Cypher again. So I want to see this, come out a little bit more. And Corey, he's having a hard time finding those openings. I definitely think that he's going to have to find that confidence. When you're going against a Jet like Wildex, especially with Wildex performing the way he did just now, I don't blame Corey for being nervous about those openings. You saw that 1v1 engagement he had towards A main that one round when he was doing little jiggle peeks, going for the taps, and it was really awkward. That was where his confidence was. We know that Corey is a better player than that. We know Corey's a more confident player. So this intermission right here is where I expect him and his team to talk to get that confidence back into place and to find openings on Haven.
Yeah, I mean, Corey, we've seen him on Haven. He was sort of that one shining light on that Haven game. And, maybe he can bring it back.
Yep.
I think this next game is going to be defined by the duelists, for sure.
Yep. 100%. I mean, 149 econ rating, that's just crazy, but absolute dominant map and masterclass from Salvation there. But folks, we're going to head to a very short intermission, and we'll be coming back with Haven. Stick around because you won't want to miss it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We hope you hydrated just as much as we did during that break after an incredible map there by Salvation, completely sweeping the floor 13-3. Ultralight Academy down in the series, but not out. We're going things to Haven. Now, Storch, I know we talked briefly about what we might expect here going into this map, but I don't know if there's any silver lining. What do you think it might be?
Oh, I don't know. Just a really tough map for UL. I don't think can really just put it to anything. I think everything together was just amazing. I don't really, if UL play the way that they did last game or anywhere similar to that, I think it's just down in the dumps, especially on their weakest map. I don't think there is a silver lining.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely very fair. I'm usually the type of guy that to try to find any silver lining that I can find in these matchups, but I'm going to be honest, this might be the first time in this tournament thus far that I just can't find one. Maybe in the past I've had that feeling in some of the Zeta matches, but this time around, I mean, I feel that way again. Salvation are looking really good coming into the playoffs. I really wasn't sure what to expect. I thought Ultralight was definitely going to take this series, and Salvation are starting to look like deep contenders for me, in my opinion, especially given that Ultralight was a good squad during that group stage run. Now, as we talk deeper about this matchup, I want to point out the statistics here between Wildex and Corey. Wildex topping the leaderboard, 426 ACS. I mean, that's just crazy. 8 first bloods. But on the flip side with Corey, only 141 ACS and 2 first bloods. So clearly the openings he couldn't find. Now, that's not always just Corey's fault, right? When it comes to a team, there's a system in place. And there's so many more things that have to do with your success on that duelist role than just you as the duelist. And so I expect to see some monumental system changes going into this next map for Ultralight to get more success out of Corey.
Yeah, now, in the past, I've talked about the sort of one-size-fits-all system that UL apparently love, which is the Cypher Deadlock. They've played it even on Haven. They played it, a map where you need that activity. And a problem with Corey, I think, he's trying to take too many engagements when he doesn't have that active initiator. He doesn't have that, say, KO on Ascent. I think he'd get so much value, and I think the player just doesn't fit the system. I don't think it's anything. Okay, maybe it's something with the system, but I don't think it's anything necessarily with the player. I think he just doesn't have the right resources for how he plays.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right about that. And I mean, I expect things to change here. Now, when we, talk about the Ascent comps, right? They play that double Sentinel, and they love doing that. I think that, was it Ultralight Academy that we were talking about the whole one size fits all? I think they played that comp on Haven, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
So,
yeah.
And that makes me nervous, though, because obviously Corey does not play around that system well at this point, or the team themselves, are having a hard time finding value into it. So coming into Haven, I expect to maybe see some changes, and then maybe, we have a double initiator comp, something to just give Corey more to work off of. And now, as we work away from that narrative, though, and as they get themselves ready, I want to talk about another key player in the server here for the side of Salvation, and that is OK Vector. On that Sentinel position, he has done so well. You're absolutely right. Towards the latter half of that group stage, he slowed down a lot, but coming into the playoffs, he has absolutely shown that strength again. And I'm going to be honest with you, Storch, I think at this point, we might be able to assign some of those differences to him on Killjoy versus Cypher, because I think that it's safe to say his Killjoy looks so strong, especially on Ascent, but when he was on that Cypher, when we were on some of the other maps, it looked like he struggled with it a little bit more. So coming into Haven, I definitely expect him to maybe be on Cypher, and I want to see how that plays out for him and see if he can keep that streak going.
Yeah, I think with him, the way he plays Cypher, he plays it like KJ. He plays it like his tripwires are giving him active information. When they aren't, people can sit behind it, hold the angle. There's even times where you can get an insert position behind a trip. And it's just much different than the KJ, and he plays it like the KJ. Now, I do agree Cypher is so much better on Haven, especially recently. But current patch, the trips, they don't insta-reveal anymore. They take that little bit of time, like 0.5 seconds. So a little bit of a nerf, maybe a little bit more towards the KJ. Then also, KJ still is great on Haven. It's just that Cypher is amazing on Haven. I think that for the sake of comfortability, at this level, you have to sometimes prioritize that. And I think the excuse could be made for the KJ. I mean, Neural Theft, great ult on Haven because of how, it's split, so there's always going to be an opening. But Lockdown, never going to be harm to have.
Yeah, 100%. And so looking back here onto the map veto screen, so obviously moving things over to Haven. Now, if ULTRALIGHT somehow find a way to pull this Haven out, we're moving things onto Sunset. Now, I don't want to foreshadow too much into Sunset and talk about that too much, but I do want to get your take on that in terms of what you maybe expect to see on a map like that, because it's our decider map in this series. Where do you think we might get out of that matchup between these two teams based off of what we just saw on Ascent?
Well, I think actually the Cypher Deadlock comp that UL like playing, it does actually fit pretty well on Sunset. There are ways. Typically, it's played, sort of like a more get intel, snap, and respond, which is why the breach, along with a Razor Neon, is so good. And you can't really breach solo initiator, and so that's why it's a double initiator map typically. But I do think that there can be an argument made for a Sentinel map, where you just play much more retake heavy or site hold one site and just stack the other, because bodies sometimes can substitute Utah. So I think we might see that again coming out of UL if we go to that map.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. And now I also want to talk about some of the deadlock changes. Not crazy changes in here, not like game-breaking changes. But we did see a deadlock in this series, and earlier in the series today, the casters and I were talking about some of the changes as we see the agents in the actual patch notes being picked. And so deadlock is one change that I do want to talk about here. So we just saw it from Zirconium and Asteri, respectively, on that map alone. And I do expect to maybe see one on Haven if ULTRALIGHT play the way that they did before. And so deadlock got maybe a bit of a buff. I don't know if it's a buff or a bug fix. I'm a little bit torn on it, but so the ultimate's now going to always kill the target after the timer expires from the annihilation, from the cocoon, right? Previously, there were times with that annihilation where you throw it maybe off the top of a roof and then it comes up and then they actually get stuck like behind the part of the wall where the cocoon actually starts, and then they're able to actually get out of it. But now they actually die either way. So a bit of a buff towards deadlock. Nothing super duper game changing. And then you also have the visual changes to the health of the actual cocoon itself for the annihilation, and also the barrier mesh that shows the health state a little bit more clear. So both teams playing towards those changes here. And I'm going to be honest with you, Storch. I think that change, even though it hasn't made meta-defining, decisions for either of these teams, I definitely think it gives deadlock a lot more room to play with. Like bouncing that cocoon off of different places, you can confidently bounce that thing anywhere and go for picks as long as the trajectory is right and not worry about anybody getting out of it. So I think that's one thing that I just wanted to kind of note there.
Again, on the patch notes, bit of a surprise to me, at least. The Gravnet, sorry, struggled to find the name. It was not in the patch notes. That's what I'm surprised about. I think it needs a nerf. Now, I was talking to a VLE player a couple of weeks ago. I'll leave him anonymous for his sake. But I heard a diabolical take, Robbie. I heard that Deadlock Gravnet should do Vice ult. It should make you pull out your secondary. Now,
I know who said that.
Yeah, I think the other way
my goodness.
around should have happened. I think it needed a nerf. It is crazy to me that it does not fade even after like 8 or 10 seconds. And it just lasts forever. You have to give that intel. You have to not have your gun out for a bit. It's such a strong piece of util. But also, I have not seen either team utilize it as much as they should have last match. We did see a little bit with UL. They threw it towards stairs. I think it's how they utilize that Gravnet. That's such an important thing. It's so broken.
Yeah. I mean, I actually agree with you on the Gravnet being broken. It just completely stops any sort of momentum from anybody anywhere. And you have to pull it off too. It doesn't go away over time either. That's the other crazy thing about it. Like it doesn't go away like a Sova dart or anything. You have to pull it off. And so I definitely agree with you because it slows a lot, gives a lot of information as well when you tap onto it. Yeah, 100%. I definitely think, though, the recent changes to Valorant, I know that there's always a nice big pool of people out there that have big criticisms for change that Riot makes, but I honestly think that there's a lot of healthy changes that we just got to this game. Especially Cypher. I think Cypher has been so meta-defining. We literally got a map changed because of him, right? The Sunset, that is. And so I definitely think Anna and I earlier on the cast in the first matchup today, we talked about that trapwire change where it now has that half of a second wind up before the actual full wall hack reveal applies and actually fades in. I love that change because it does keep kill trips still, you know, viable, but at the same time, you know, it adds a little bit more counterplay to the actual trips themselves, and you have a lot more time to react to them. So I definitely think that that's a very healthy change for Cypher, and one that we have not seen from him in a very long time. And then the ult cost, of course, going up to 7. I don't think that changed too much, but I do think that previously people were getting that neural theft very often, and it gave them a lot of information. So I think Cypher's in a much healthier place now.
Same as the run it back, the 6 to 7 orbs, it just makes sense. Like, even I honestly think that Phoenix, he was really weak, but having that 6-point ult was just stupid strong even when he was weak. He did not deserve a 6-point ult. I think the only ult in the game, to me, that should be 6 points, or to me there's 2 actually, would be the Reyna ult, and Empress, and then also from the Shadows.
Yeah.
I think from the Shadows, you know, Omen really overpowered Agent, maybe that's why, but it just feels like every time I get his ult, it's just a bit of like, oh, well, what do I do now?
Here we go. Agent select now underway. Now, folks, to give a bit of an update, the reason that it seemed like we were yapping for a little bit longer there than we usually do between the maps is because a bit of technical difficulties for one of the players on the side of ULTRALIGHT Academy, but everything is now situated and everyone is ready to get into the server. And now Storch already. ULTRALIGHT Academy, they have a different comp. Yeah, Sova Breach, there it is.
Oh my god, and Bandit is playing for them. Is that...
Yep.
Not sure, is that an E-sub? Is that a roster move that's been made?
So he's actually going to be E-subbing for ULTRALIGHT for their potentially, I almost said last map, ouch, for their potentially last map here in the series. Bandit will be coming in as he was approved by Salvation. So a couple technical difficulties there, but nonetheless, series is underway and we got mirror comps here.
Yeah, and you know, if you're talking about Haven, this is the comp to play unless you're Fnatic. Just really good overall. This is what we were missing from ULA the last time they played this map. They had no activity whatsoever. And Bandit, you know, maybe he lacks a little bit in the micro department, even in the macro, but to playing a flash initiator, he's somebody who I've coached before. Like, up until like 9 months ago, I was coaching him. And the evolution of him to now has been great. I think he can definitely make a big impact on this sort of team here. I think he can do a good job. It's just up to the communication here. We need to see that connection between Bandit and Corey, and it looks like we're getting it already. You know, we're in pause, but they're going for this fast mid approach, and could go very well. Also, back onto the comps, Robbie. What are your thoughts on a Jett versus Neon here? What's your preference?
I think that Neon has done very well on Haven for a very long time for a very good reason. I think that the dive, especially towards A, towards C, I mean, when it comes to Jett scaling, a lot of times you'll get that updraft dash maybe towards back plat on C or maybe towards, you know, mid site. But towards A, most of the time you'll get just a dash towards mid site or maybe sometimes updraft on that box and then maybe wrap around short and help those players. But I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I don't feel like verticality is like insanely important here on Haven. I feel like as long as you get a really good dash onto the site and you get that breach stun or aftershock or flashpoint, either one, because breach is so good, towards the back site for the Neon to peek off of, you get that value out of there. And then you also have a relay bolt from the Neon to also couple with it. So I definitely like Neon on this map, but on the flip side, I think Jett is just as good, right, for the scaling. I think both play well against the Cypher. Yeah.
I would agree, both are very effective. For me, I would actually look more at a weaponry angle. I think Neon Op, we've seen it played before, even played in pro play. I don't, like, obviously you're going to prefer a Jett when you're opping, and I think if you have a hard opper on your team, if you have that, I don't know, like Kenny S on your team, you can definitely want to cater towards that jet, right? But
Yep.
on the flip side, if you have somebody, especially like a Phantom user, Neon with a Phantom is scary, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like, I just think it can just be personal preference. I think they can, even in the scaling, while one might be in situations than the other, it's very even, and I think it's somewhat interchangeable.
Yeah. I totally agree. Now here we are, folks, getting hyped back into the pistol round of the second map of this series. You know, Ultralight Academy down, but not out. And here we are, starting things off. Looking to look towards this C space, and it looks like it's going to be a very fast split over towards C. And Bandit, the last-minute emergency sub brought in for the side of Ultralight, looking to get the first two, and there it is. First two of the round, looking for another. Shots a little bit labored there from Sirius, but able to take down the frag. Right now, regrouping into this one, moving over towards the site. And Zirconium and Sirius able to capitalize off the back of that. Corey, left by his lonesome, not going to opt to push through the smoke here. Only has the Sheriff in hand, so he doesn't necessarily have the firepower to go against these classics. But when he hears the drone, he steps out of it. I actually love that from Sirius. He knows when he goes for that drone, that's the window of timing for the window player, and so he sticks back around to take him down. And there it is, Vector to finish things off, and that's round one for Salvation.
Yeah, an early pick onto Wowdex and Leo from Bandit. Good stuff from him, but you know, really just not aware of the push behind him, and that ultimately ends up making UL, they just panic a little bit. Everything flashing red, take a few bad peeks. You know, the enticing sound of the drone. It just, you really want to peek it, and Sirius, really good read on that. Staying, we saw him, he wanted to follow the drone, he wanted to go through. But now it stays back and he's able to get the pick off of it.
Yeah.
Bandit now, looking towards the stun and sewers. Gonna send it early from Corey. Oh, maybe could have waited a little later, waited for contact, forced that short range fight. No. And all the way up A now. Just tally a backside, because Corey's gonna fall. Oh.
Enemy remaining.
That was interesting, Robbie. We just
Yeah.
Spike planted.
drone right out of the open.
Little bit awkward, but nonetheless, Salvation does have four still left standing here. Economy looking really healthy. Shadow only has the shorty in hand, super duper short range, so yeah.
But look at Zirconium.
Yeah. Oh.
The timing on that was insane. Wow.
There it is, round number 2.
Yeah, Salvation still looking
Who are
convincing.
you? Copy of me.
And Robbie, we talked about the Cypher versus the KJ, and seems like they have put Zirconium on that Cypher, Vector on that Sova. No, I like Vector's ideas on Sova so far. I think just the execution, maybe a little bit off.
This is no more charges.
You know, it is really easy, sort of accidentally drone out of the open, because you jump, press drone, and strafe. Very specific timing. But a little bit unfortunate there. Coming now towards this mid-C split. And look at the positioning here for UL. That breach stun, it's so ready to come through into garage. But all the way out C now. Shadow, what can he find?
Ooh, look at the way he's playing around this. Ooh. I mean, Shadow is so comfortable in the sentinel position. Look at the stall too. The cage is creating the perfect pocket for him to get his opening onto the site. And there it is, second on the round, looking for the third. There it is, right into garage. Zirconium left on that lurk over towards A. Coming over towards mid. Corey gonna take him down as he tries to come back into the picture, but taken down. Ultralight Academy with their first conversion.
You just know Zirconium. Sorry, I can't stop laughing, man.
That was so
Zirconium
good.
peeks out. Such unfortunate timing with onto Corey. But yeah, no. Round secured for UL. Very, I mean, they're supposed to win that round, but after last game, they had to prove that to us. They had to really get that round, and they did. Now, it's about holding this sort of momentum that they might try and build here.
Momentum indeed. Shadow. Once again, playing over towards the C space. Dude, I don't know what it is, but I love watching this guy play Cypher. Actually, I do know what it is. His setups are so good. But he plays it so comfortably.
he changes them up a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Like his cam, he's used different cam spots both rounds now. Played in different positions. It's just very fluid. No,
Mm-hmm.
it honestly kind of reminds me how what's his name? How Steel played Cypher for 100 Thieves. I think it was
yes.
very like differing.
Cage
And
It's actually a
just
very
onto
good
the
example.
Planting for ammo. Dart not going to be able to scan through.
Spike
And
planted.
Shock's coming through, not going to find anything because it's not default. No. Corey, he's going to fall. This is going to be a really tough retake without that duelist. And Bandit now. That's such a ported
One
util.
enemy remaining.
Oh my, wow, Dex. What? Okay, bringing it back into this match. Resuming exactly where he was last time. Ooh. That's another thing, Robbie. As Talia left in a bit of a 1v4 gonna save. You saw that Omen smoke right there. Kinda fell through the ceiling where it might have one-wayed before. A little bit on that.
Yeah. I mean, we did get those Omen changes. So the dark covers, excuse me, from the Omen, you actually can't place it on spots that a player can't stand anymore. So what that means is if it's a spot that's not accessible by a player where they can stand, you actually cannot throw a dark cover on it anymore. So those little lampposts that you used to be able to throw them on, or the little archways above doors, you can no longer actually put one-ways there. Now, there's still one-way spots. So, for example, like Ascent, that jump up like over, like from the motorcycle over towards like A main, that little ledge, you can still do it there because that's a standable spot, right? So there's still like a lot of good opportunities for Omen one-ways, but you definitely have them lesser from the recent patch.
Just anywhere a player body can stand, you can
Yep.
place a one-way, which I think is great. Very impressive one-ways, especially on Ascent, the tree one, the market one. Yeah. Now,
Oh, Corey.
contacting up here, Corey could go huge. Oh. Now, we should have been able to mention the run gun nerfs there, but no, it still works. And
Yep.
free sight for salvation now.
Still Fortnite.
Gotta get a Bucky buff now.
Okay. Let's just give the
Stop.
Bucky infinite range.
Pre-patch buff. Oh, Shadow! About to catch
Uh-oh.
out Zirconium, but Zirconium is so aware.
Where is everyone
Wow.
hiding?
I know he died, but that awareness from him is crazy good. That was
Yeah.
nice.
And it really just...
Oof.
Oh, Sirius gonna fall. Leo, Wowdex now. Wowdex, good for one.
Pitiful.
One
Leo
enemy
good for the
remaining.
last one. Shadow. Ooh, nice shots coming through from Leo and Wowdex. Cleaning up that round, 2 for each. Yep,
Yeah.
Little double breach jet action. Love to see it. And, you know, Shadow, the only thing I can say about his Cypher, he takes his lurk timings so well, but what I can put against it is there is a good amount of commonality in how he lurks.
Mhm.
And, you know, UL, they seem to have done their homework. And, Zirconium, very, very aware. That was impressive to see.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to compliment Ultralight Academy's micro going into this game, actually. I mean, I feel like we were going to get that anyway now that we have a double initiator comp and you have a lot more to work with in that regard. But I definitely think that they're moving around the map a lot better. They seem to be playing a lot more confident positions as well. You see Corey trying to entrench himself into spaces, you know, take some fights there. And so, you know, it feels better from them, but so far it's still not very convincing, but I see improvements for sure. Now, this is a very obscure position that Eco's in right now. He's all the way in the spawn, looking for some picks. Gonna have to back off, tuck tail. But Vector
Right here.
on the case. Trying to take him down as the spawning control does.
Exactly
That's it.
where you are.
North Def comes through, looking for the defensive positionings, and right now, I mean, Salvation have complete control of this round.
And Corey, trying to look for something towards mid, just gonna get picked off by Vector. Now, Vector and Wowdex, yet again, topping this leaderboard. See how it goes through the rest of the game. Shadow has that Bucky, looking towards Garage. Wowdex, he wants to get in here, and Shadow, he sees it,
Foolish.
and he gets a huge pick. Rifle recovered.
Last player standing.
All up to Talia now. All she has is that Sheriff.
Ooh!
And whoa. deletion. That was insane, but Zirconium playing Gong, playing off of Sirius's contact. Or off of Vector's contact. Now, she's gonna get triple swung. Everybody collapsing on her. And that's the round from Salvation. 5-1, convincing here. Maybe we see a first time out.
I also expect it here. I'm waiting for it. I don't think we're gonna see it.
Oh no,
I noticed,
Robbie.
Yeah. I noticed when they have their coach, they're a lot more hesitant to call them. And I mean, I guess maybe it makes a little bit of sense because maybe she can provide that insight during the pre-rounds. But I mean, if you have that timeout, you have so much more time to like diagnose what's going on.
Even like without a coach, yeah, just mental reset time. And maybe coach is a little bit scared of it because of what happened with EQ, or sorry, that was EXL, sorry.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks ago. So sad. And now Vector gonna drone, trying to get that
Take flight.
A hit. Talia, drone coming out, has to cancel. Wow Dex.
Ooh.
Whoa. Wow Dex and Leo again, finding their way onto the site.
Spike
Shadow
planted.
now. in
With the same
position
fight.
with Zirconium.
Yeah.
He's going too slow.
I love that.
You know he knows. They're still gonna get a fight.
This is too good.
Defender side is back. They're on site. Oh my god.
Ooh.
Bandit.
Shadow. He's too late to this party though. He spent a lot of time looking for Zirconium. Not able to find any value coming into it. Able to get the first pick. I mean, fancy with the footwork, but nonetheless, not enough value found into the round in order to actually gain any sort of momentum here. So that is going to be a 6th conversion for Salvation. And I mean, Storch, they're already running away with this Haven right now, and that's exactly what I expected. I still do see very small improvements here and there from ULTRALIGHT Academy, but I mean, the narrative still looks the same.
Yeah, just a lot of, unexpected, like, in smokes, they don't expect the smoke to fade. I feel like one thing that you have to try and start picking up on, especially if you're trying to play Valorant in a competitive setting, no matter the level, you have to understand your smoke timings. And I understand sometimes it can be a little bit unfortunate, but it just can't be all the time. Corey is posted up with an op now, and a huge pick onto Wowdex. Immediate out from Salvation. Zirconium all the way up. Makes a step though. Oh!
No more charges left.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, this looks pretty good so far. ULTRALIGHT Academy do still have an even advantage here. And now, so you have that Rolling Thunder and Hunter's Fury on the side of Salvation. That's where things get a bit curious. Because although they're at the mana disadvantage, the utility looks really good for them. A lot of stall power. So they're going to have to tap one of the spikes soon. They want to force that out. Corey going through the smoke. Shots not able to connect. And Vector landing that off. They don't even need the ultimate. Storch. The guns are landing. Shadow looking to try to clutch things off. Dodging away from the recon bolt for the time being. Tapped right onto the spike. Flashpoint coming right on through. Double peek, and there it is. That is it. 7th round for Salvation.
He saw the flash coming towards him, but the flash wasn't actually on his screen. That, that's an interesting one.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we saw a lot of operate out of Corey on Ascent, right?
No. But we have seen Corey on Haven before.
Yeah.
Did go very well. A little bit of whiff city there from UL. But no, we didn't see Corey off. It might have been in part because they never had the eco too, but Oh.
Cover going out.
Speaking of eco, playing around the choke point. Gonna use the Shrouded Step to get out of dodge. Paranoia comes through towards Garage. Counter Paranoia done very well so far. Holding the choke point, so the split push is a little bit fragmented here. Now full side control is taken by Salvation, but the trades come through and everyone just wins out. And this is exactly the tale of Micro that we talk about. You have to be able to win out those engagements. They can't even hold the garage space alone,
Faster.
let alone not being able to hold from that split push. Zirconium finished things off, and they're still holding on to that Rolling Thunder and Hunter's Fury. They haven't needed to use it.
Yeah, no, it's just looking like everything's going so easily for them. And you have to beg the question, when do UL use a timeout? They need it. They need some sort of reset. This is it for them. This is, you know, they lose this, they fall to lower bracket. And that's going to be a bit of a tough matchup. Actually, I believe, Robbie, that matchup... Hold on, let me... Yeah, that matchup is actually going to be against loser of RPG Times. Two teams have shown up a lot, and ooh, early pick coming up from Zirconium. Very fast
but
up.
the way
Right,
he got the
Rick,
pick was so bad, yeah. What an error. He's out in the open trying to throw a dark cover. Zirconium, he's trying to get a trade. You see how desperately he wants it. Now, on the flip side, trade does come out over towards the A site.
Yeah, how...
We have...
Spike planted.
Ooh,
Oh.
That's
How
it.
has a Cypher that has lurked every round of the game, and you've seen on a lurk every round of a game, sell a fake?
beats me. I mean, maybe they were trying to read into a bit of a tempo change there. I'm not entirely sure, but at this time he's lurking with Bandit, so he's got a little bit of assistance. Recon in hand for Vector. Dropping down from Heaven. Talia trying to be a difference maker into this one, but if they want it, they got to tap pretty soon. Looking for the shots. There it is. Talia able to land with the Bulldog, but she is the one to go for the defuse, but no. Vector's over towards short, and that is time. Shockball comes through, does the chip damage, looking for the shots, able to take one down, and Bandit gets the trade for his troubles, but no matter what, Vector gets that clutch, and that's a 9th round for Salvation.
Now, Robbie, you wanna point out what they still have?
Oh my goodness. The Rolling Thunder and the Hunter's Fury. They don't even need to use it. They got guns. Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
this...
they don't seem to be working for this. I'm gonna be honest. This, I am thoroughly surprised with, you know, how much Salvation have stepped up their performance, but also how UL, it seems like they've missed things that they had in group stages. Oh, Corey getting picked up by Leo. Again. Oh, and there's the Rolling Thunder.
Finally. Invested going towards his site, but the counter Hunter's Fury from Tally able to get the plant down, which is good. And even off the back of that, 80 damage on a Sirius. Talia got a lot of damage there, and even finding the lurk of Zirconium.
Spike planted.
She has went huge this round so far, done her job, but it's still an even playing field for both teams. 3v3 right now. Bandit over towards Heaven, trying to look for any openings right now. The Aldrone, the first point of this retake, gets initiated now. Dark covers come right on through. Paranoia towards Hell, taking the Jet out of the equation, but the shots not able to land. Talia looking for it. Man, I saw the silver lining that time, Storch, but I mean, Salvation still runs away with that one because the micro was so much better.
In the half.
Yeah, and Bandit, every time on this A retake has position towards Heaven. That's just not really where you want a breach to be. You need that breach. He needs to stun Graffiti and Default. That's what you need. You need to have the stun ready. You need to have your Paranoia ready to counter Paranoia. You just need to be able to trade off that util from effective positions. And every time Bandit, he can't flash for his team because he'll either flash them or he has to reposition. And outline out from Corey. 140 onto Wowdex. Wowdex, he's low. Coming up with this drone though, the stun coming through. Oh, Wowdex spotted out. Oh,
Oh.
there goes his head.
Oh, good. Our monitors were off.
Deploying drone.
Spike planted.
Right here.
Stun. Coming right on through, aftershock coupled right with it. Wildex has been on 1 HP for like 30 business days now. When is he gonna die? We're getting ready to find out. Here we are, Flashpoint comes right on through. Hunter's Fury. Invested a bit early going into this one. He actually gets so much damage out of that as well. And Siri is getting 2 off the back of that, but Talia trying to make a bit of a difference for the Ultralight squad, but Leo landing things off in Salvation, keeping a hold of this very dominant lead, 11-1, an even more dominant lead that we saw on Ascent the first half.
On an attack-sided map.
Ugh.
I don't know what to say, Robbie. I thought the world of ULA, and you know, they haven't quite given it to me. They've given me, you know, maybe the international garbage patch or whatever it's called. It
Yeah.
just hasn't been great. Yeah, you know, a lot
it's,
to work on the next game.
Yeah. Definitely the drawing board. I mean, and granted, I mean, they went through a lot this game. I mean, Asteri had so many technical difficulties. They also had to have Talia play because, you know, Penguin wasn't able to make the time. But, I mean, definitely a valiant effort. Going into this round, though, Corey finding success on the first blood. Let's go. Ultralight feeling a little bit more confident going into this pistol round. Here we are. Moving right through the smoke. Going to use the tailwind to get out of dodge. Eco doing a lot of damage there. But wow, Dex, he's still alive and well. Able to take one down for his troubles. But once again, the micro from Salvation completely gains the man advantage. Talia not able to get quick enough to the punch. Corey left by his lonesome, ghost in hand. Oh my
what?
goodness!
Wait, his crosshairs on their heads.
Wait, what?
Riot? Riot?
Okay, those are moments right there, Storch, where I wish we had replays. I had to see that again.
Pause the riot. I'm gonna clip it, clip that, rewatch that later.
Clip and ship it.
I
Yeah.
will put it in media chat in VLE for proof. Those of you who might not be in the server might want to find us elsewhere. You know, you can join the Discord server, public server, link to the Twitch, or find us on x.com or twitch.tv/VLE Challengers.
W.
Eyes up.
I mean, this matchup right here, 12-1 Storch. I feel bad for Ultralight Academy or anybody that has Ultralight Academy winning this in their pick'ems. Those are the two folks that aren't eating well right now. Eco.
I'm not
Moving
eating
over here.
Robbie.
Right? Grand final. Now, I mean, a little bit of chance here. All right,
It's
Shadow.
coming through.
Uh-huh. Right through the dark cover here, Eco. Looking to push through, but I mean, Wildex is so disrespectful for spamming that guy there, man. Let him live, dude. Talia, able to take one down for her troubles. A little bit of assist. Okay, Talia. Able to land down two. Series with an immediate trade. Oh!
Last player standing.
The Marshal's just so good. Oh, no.
Defenders win.
It's
What
serious.
a way
Just
to lose.
pulling at his.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a
And
Kamey moment indeed. I like that reference.
13-1, 13-3. What that's 26-4. That's, I believe, a greater deficit than it was when Celestial played ILH.
Yeah. This is definitely not a playoffs scoreline that I would expect. Given again,
Yeah.
I feel like we really though have to think about the side of Ultralight Academy where, you know, they didn't get their, you know, regular initiator in Penguin. Talia had to hop in, and then they had Asteri who was at like 122 plus ping the entire game, so Bandit had to come in and last minute emergency sub. I mean, Ultralight Academy, they had an uphill battle tonight that, I mean, just things that they couldn't help outside of the server, you know? So my heart definitely goes out to them. I know this scoreline definitely hurts, but they've got a lot of time now because they moved to that bottom bracket. They've got time to go back to the drawing board and decide how they want to reapproach this game, because that's definitely something that's going to happen regardless, you know, of the difficulties they went through today. Obviously, we saw some systematic errors. So, you know, in all seriousness, those are things that are going to have to be changed for sure moving forward.
Yeah, I'm a little bit stunned. I really thought not even that this series was going to be a completely different outcome, but that it was going to be a very close series. But no, everybody coming out of this on Salvation with fairly positive KD. And
Yeah.
when your whole team is just performing on point, the world can't stop you. Performance,
Yeah.
like that's what's going to lead you to the finals. That's what's going to lead you to maybe even becoming eventual champions. And Salvation, they've proven today that they've set themselves on that path.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that because what's intriguing about this, and you know, we know ULTRALIGHT, especially just from their group stage run, pretty decent team. They literally came into this matchup as the top seed, as Team A, and so this makes me curious about SLVN moving forward because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's a single pick'em out there that has SLVN, well, winning this tournament, right? So I want to start to talk about maybe the forward narrative of these guys coming out of this matchup. I personally had ULTRALIGHT winning this series, and so seeing SLVN take this 26-4, I mean, that's just crazy, unheard of in a playoffs game, unless you're Zeta. But here they are moving into this next matchup. They're going to be going up against one of Times or Red Panda Gaming. So I want to talk. I want to pick your brain apart a little bit here. Talk to me about what you think about SLVN, one of those two teams. Do you think they can beat RPG?
Well, I don't think that if they can beat, whether or not they can beat RPG is the question for me. I think the question for me is whether or not they can beat Times.
Really? You have Times winning the RPG match.
Hear me out. I think the egos they might get a little bit ahead of themselves with the ego, and you know, I think both teams very strong. The Times that we saw in that last game against corner campers, that was phenomenal. And if they can continue that into playoffs, I don't see why they can't beat RPG. You know, maybe it might require catching them on an off day, but you know, sometimes that's what it takes. That counter-stratting as well. You know, RPG, they do have whole new strats now, but can still pick up on player tendencies. I think that SLVN and Times gonna be able to sort of pick up on that. Yeah, I think SLVN, they'll go through the next round, stay in the upper bracket.
Okay. So you believe that they can beat one of Times or RPG, both of them?
Yes.
Okay. I definitely agree. I think that SLVN have a really good chance, just given what we saw from them I mean, especially if WildX stays, I mean, the same. If WildX keeps performing that way, I mean, there's no way SLVN don't find themselves in, like, at least a semi-final matchup, right? Whether that's the upper final, right, to qualify for the grand final, or whether that's the lower final because they make a lower bracket run. Whatever have you, I think SLVN can make a deep run with what we just saw. I mean, it's not just the micros, though, Storch. It's not just the firepower, the mechanics. It's also the system that they had in place. Zirconium, I mean, always finding really good lurks on that Sentinel and played that deadlock so well on the last match. And then you had Vector, who's just so good on that Killjoy. Sirius, who came out on top, actually, is the match MVP this game here on the controller role. And then Leo assisting very well as that initiator next to WildX. I mean, the layers are endless for SLVN, and honestly, I'd be scared to go up against them if I were anybody else in this playoffs right now.
Yeah, and you know who Leo kind of reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of Simon, the player for EDG.
That's a really good one, yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Now, I'd love to say that WildX reminds me of Kong Kong, but if there's any one player in this tournament that reminds me of Kong Kong, I believe it's the player who actually is playing in the next match that's going to happen tomorrow. The Fanatical Radiance game, that's tomorrow, right? I think Quincy reminds me of Kong Kong for sure.
Do you know what? Great minds think alike, because the moment you said if there's anybody that reminds me of Kong Kong, I immediately had Quincy in my head. That is insane. I definitely agree with you. I think that Quincy is an incredible player on that squad. He is so impactful, and also the team around him is really good. Now, I mean, that match is a little bit more curious, though, because they're going up against DSS Gaming, and I know we only saw DSS Gaming once, so I might be putting a little bit too much weight. I might be giving them too much credit, but I feel like DSS, I personally have DSS going to grand finals with RPG.
Yeah, what we saw from DSS, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, especially like if Trombone Man Noah shows up the way that he did the first time around. Granted, though, just a little bit of insider information. So DSS in their matchup tomorrow, they actually won't have Trombone Man Noah. He's actually graduating college this weekend. So from VLE Challengers to him, congratulations on that. I'm really happy for him. I'm excited to see how that goes for him. And so this weekend, we are going to get a different player in his place, but presumably he will be coming back into the mix for the next matches after that.
Yeah, youngest member of DSS, showing why, you know, the video game veterans out here really proving themselves. Great job from them.
Yep.
Excited to see him play, and very tough match for Fanatical Radiance, who seem to sort of be almost like a Quincy and Friends team. Bandit was playing for them in the past. He was actually, he had that one Haven match where he played very well. That was actually the Haven match against ULA where he top fragged, led his team to the victory. There's got to be some inside thing that happened. It definitely wasn't the gameplay that resulted in his departure from the team, but they might be weaker because of it.
Yeah. And looking at the bracket here, so after this first night of matchups, we've got Minji moving on to the upper round 2 and Salvation moving on to upper round number 2. Bracket's starting to take shape here after these opening matchups and teams really showing us what they're made of coming into these playoffs. And then already in the lower bracket, we've got Celestial Titan and Ultralight Academy. And honestly, Storch, I think after today, I was not expecting to say Celestial Titan and Ultralight Academy in the lower bracket, but I'm going to be honest, at the same time, I feel like I wouldn't be expecting to say Salvation or Minji in the lower bracket. So that actually just goes to show how good I think of these teams in these playoffs because, I mean, group stage is a big mixing pot. You get a taste of everything, whereas when you come to the playoffs, the table's a little bit more even. I mean, granted, we just had a bit of a blowout right now, but still, just overall, it's a little bit more even playing field, and this is a narrative that Anna and I talked about early on the cast is playoffs is always an uphill battle, no matter what. You win your first match, the next match is going to be harder. You win that match, the next one's going to be harder. No matter what, that's exactly what you're working with in playoffs because the teams that deserve it are going to be the ones moving forward in the bracket. And if you move to lower bracket, it's even harder. Double elimination, you don't want to be knocked out down there, so it's only an uphill battle from there. So I'm excited to see how that plays out for Minji and Salvation after they perform tonight.
Yeah, I'd also say, onto your point of neither team would be expected to be in the lower bracket from either of the games today. I definitely agree with that, but I would also say that after today's games, the teams that are there deserve to be there.
Yep.
After what happened today, and fortunately my pick'ems are at 0% right now.
I think mine too, actually. Yeah, mine too. I had Celestial Titan winning the game earlier, and I also had Ultralight Academy winning, so my pick'ems are down in the dumps. For those of you out there that have accumulated 0 points tonight, we are offering some services to help cope with what's going on tonight, because, man, tonight was a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, this was crazy. Wow.
Yeah. I didn't see a watch party today, but maybe it's for the better of his mental health.
Yeah, that blowout was insane.
Seems to get a little bit stressed when his team is in tense rounds, and that whole game, both of them really tense. Wow, yeah.
Man, well, with that, Storch, I mean, what an amazing matchup, and it was amazing and such a pleasure, honestly, to share the Casters booth with you once again. I say it every single time because I enjoy every single cast that you and I do, so amazing matchup, and we've got so many more to go, and tomorrow we're opening things up with the next 2 opening matches. We've got DSS Gaming versus Fanatical Radiance and Times versus Red Panda Gaming. It's going to be tomorrow, so we'll see you then. You won't want to miss it.
Yeah.
bass roll out. Show me how you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back to the rhythm, let the bass roll out. Show me how you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. 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 Take it right back.
Hit the right beat, make it unique, flip the technique.
Do it like that, work it like that, shake it like that, take it right back.
Hit my feet, hit the right beat, make it unique, flip the technique.
Do it like that, work it like that, shake it like that, take it right back. Take it right back. The dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Dip to the rhythm, let the bass roll out. Show me how you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Do it like that.